everybody. I am Niharika, your tutor for today's lesson, and thank you for clicking on this video here. Last month I was flying to US and I was stuck in this awful traffic. It was raining heavily and I was stuck in the traffic, so I ended up calling the airport to check if my flight was on time. So I called this lady and this lady said, yes, your flight is on time. It is scheduled to depart at 9 a.m. so it is on time, but since I was in the traffic, I was worried if I would get in time. So the lady said that the flight is on time, but for immigrations, I hope you get in time. Okay, so we are gonna look at the difference here, on time and in time. Now, of course, they sound a little similar, but they have different meanings to it, and we are going to learn what exactly it means. And after all, they are prepositions. They get a little confusing at times, but don't worry, we will help you out. So let's see this phrase on time. Now, on time, what does it mean? It's an obligation. It's your duty, okay? It's like it has to happen on a fixed time. So we will also look at some sentences, but before we look at the sentences, let's see what does the phrase in time mean. Now, in time is a deadline, so it's the last moment. The last moment before you do something, okay? Okay, so that's what the in time means and on time. And while you talk in English, many of us make this mistake, so we are gonna get this cleared. Let's see, let's look at a sentence here. Peter wants to start the meeting on time. Now, on time, maybe, now Peter is very particular about doing his work or starting his meetings on time. So maybe he's decided that this meeting should begin at 9 a.m., okay? All right, so it is important for his team members to start the meeting at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. is the fixed time, so the correct phrase to be used would be on time, okay? We would not use in time. Let's see, Peter wants to start the meeting in time. This doesn't sound correct, right? So on time is the right phrase, but we would also look at if we have to use the phrase in time. So for example, Peter wants to finish, okay? Peter wants to finish the meeting in time. So maybe he has another meeting lined up, okay? Maybe he has another meeting lined up at 10:30, so he really wants to get done with this meeting in time. So I hope you got the difference, okay? On time is the fixed time and in time is before the deadline. So he has another meeting to attend, so in time is before the deadline. Let's look at another sentence here. Maybe you would get a little better picture of this. I hardly ever get to work on time. Now, on time, now work, maybe you always have, of course, you always have office hours, right? Maybe you have to be there at 9 a.m. or maybe you have to be there at 8 a.m. Let's take it 8 a.m. So your office, I mean, it's your duty to be there at your workplace at 8 a.m., but maybe because of the traffic or maybe you don't wake up early, you do not get to work on time. What if you will have to use in time? You hardly ever get to work in time. Again, that sounds incorrect because there's no deadline, right? I mean, your boss has not said that you have to be there before 9:30. No, right? So there's no deadline. So basically, if you have to use the word in time, you would say, I hardly ever finish my work in time. Okay, I hardly ever finish my work in time. So, of course, because you're getting to work late, you're not going to finish your work, isn't it? So, you can use the word in time in this manner. Let's look at a couple of sentences here where we can use the word in time. The ambulance arrived just in time at the spot. Okay, let's see here, in time. The ambulance arrived just in time. Maybe there's this guy who fell from a bike. He had a big accident and he's gasping for breath. But here comes the ambulance, okay? The ambulance comes in and gives him, helps him with the first aid. So before it's too late. Now there's no fixed, you haven't called for the ambulance that, oh, the ambulance has to be there at 10 o'clock, right? There's no fixed time. Basically, the ambulance just has to be there in time. So that's wherein you use the phrase in time. So before it was too late, the ambulance was there and there were people to help this guy who met with an accident. Let's look at another sentence here. If you don't submit your project in time, you will be fired. Okay, let's see here, in time. Now, of course, if you don't submit your project in time, so there is a deadline. Maybe you're supposed to submit your project by Friday. So you are supposed to submit. You should get done with the project before Friday. And if you don't, the outcome would be you'll be fired. Okay? So here you would use the phrase in time. Why we would not use on time? Because again, you would say, why can't I use if you don't submit your project on time, you'll be fired? Because your boss has not told you that submit this project at 10 o'clock, right? It's just he's given you a deadline and you're supposed to finish that project before the deadline. So I hope I've made it clear that when to use on time and when to use in time. So the next time you use it, you know for what situations you will be using it. So that brings me to the end of this lesson. Hope you really enjoyed it. And please do write into us and I'll be happy to answer all your queries. Thank you and you have a great day.